Hello, hello, everybody. This is your life coach Fu. Thank you for joining me. And I just wanted to come on and continue to talk about what I got a lot of feedback from last time when we spoke about procrastination. Oh, thank you so much for getting back to me and for the wonderful feedback. It made me realize that I'm not alone, and most of us deal with it. And it was so refreshing to get your feedback. And some people said, "Oh, I need to go back. I started writing a book, so I'm going to go back and start again." Continue with my project. There were some hilarious feedbacks that I got. There was one. There was one who laughed and said, "You're walking in my lane. You're walking in my lane," and then she said, "I woke up and folded my laundry that had been sitting in a basket for weeks." So I said to her, "Oh, well, at least you're taking action. That's good." And that's the thing about dealing with procrastination. You really have to take action and you have to be consistent. Because otherwise you can just say, "Okay, I'll do it," and you can be doing it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then you go back to your routine. You have to be intentional about it, to say enough is enough. Because really, when you give in to procrastination, you're sabotaging yourself. You won't be able to really live fully and express yourself fully and reach your potential and live a purposeful life. So you have to be intentional about it. And what happens is, what I've realized is, when you make that decision and you say, "I'm not going to procrastinate anymore," there are instances where you will, but you tell yourself in those moments, "No, no, no." Because what the goal is for you to kill that thing, to let it go so that you can advance, so that you can have a productive life. And so that you also don't have the pressure of lastminute.com. And that pressure does not just affect you, it affects those around you. So you just have to make a decision and be intentional about it. So today I just thought I should talk about what are some of the reasons. There are so many reasons that cause people to procrastinate, so many reasons, and I would want to hear from you. What are some of the reasons that cause you to procrastinate? And I also want to add that there's so much on this topic. It's a broad topic, and there's also a psychology behind this. But my aim here is just to be real and practical, and just to share my life experiences when it comes to dealing with the spirit. So I'll talk about a few. There's so many reasons, as I've said, but a few reasons, and some of them I actually mentioned them in the last broadcast when I spoke about procrastination. But number one is perfectionism. You want everything to be perfect before you start. So when you are a person like that who realizes, "I'm a perfectionist," there's nothing to brag about when you're not, making things go, or having to do stuff, or accomplishing stuff. What's the use of being a perfectionist, but there's nothing to show for it? So you just tell yourself, "Let me just get started. Let me do it, whether I'm ready or not, whether all things are in place or not. Let me just get started." I'm in this group on social media, and there's one person who posted something that really resonated with me, and I'm going to read it. They said one of their mentors way back told them this statement, and it has stuck with them. They said, "Somebody less qualified than you is successfully doing that very thing you want to be doing. They have simply chosen to do it scared and grow along the way rather than wait for perfection." I hope somebody gets that. There's somebody out there who's probably less qualified than you, doing the very thing that you want to do. But the difference between that person and you is they decided to get started. Even when things were not perfect, when things were not in place, they said, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And along the way, they started to perfect things, they started to put things in order. So, my encouragement to you is, if you are in that group of a perfectionist, just choose to start, even if you are scared, even if you are worried, if things are not in place, choose to just get started and do it. When you set a deadline and say, I'm going to do this by this day, follow through it and do it. And as you go along, you see things coming into place. So that's my advice for you, for those that are perfectionists. Number two, fear of failure. There are some people who will not get started because they fear to fail. They're afraid of failing. But I'm here to encourage you. There is nothing wrong with failing. You actually perfect something when you fail. When you fail, things, you perfect them. If you read biographies of great people, they will tell you how many times they failed, but they never gave up. If they had waited for them to start on that business or writing that book, if they had waited to say, you know what, I want to make sure, I want to put systems that will make sure that I don't fail, they would never have started. So, that fear of failure, you have to deal with it. Find the root cause. Where is the root cause? Because people in life, they fail because they are human. Sometimes you can put all the measures you can, but still fail. Things are changing in this world, things are changing. So every time in business or in life, you have to tweak things to say, okay, now we have to do things this way, we have to do things this way, we didn't do so well. So if you are in that group where you fear to fail, you will never get started. We will never reap the treasure that is in you because of fear, 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 fear. So deal with the fear. Know that everyone, no, well, I don't want to say everyone, but most people that I know, they have failed in business, they have failed in certain things, but that has not prevented them from starting on doing something. Number three, fear of criticism. On this one, I would say fear of criticism slash fear of people. You fear that if you go out there, people will criticize you. What will people say? Ah, my brother, my sister, you need to be delivered from people. You will not advance. We will not partake of that which is in you, that treasure. We need that book. We need that business. We need that song. But if you are afraid of criticism, if you are afraid of people, you will not get started. Thereby procrastinate. Say, I'll do it later. When I'm, no, 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 no. Do it now. The only people that can criticize you are those that are doing less than you. Don't be afraid of criticism. Don't be afraid of people. Let me tell you something, breaking news. People are so busy developing their lives, people are so busy living. There is so much that people are busy with. Those people that you're afraid with, they've got their own lives to live. So that fear of criticism, that fear of people, you should let it go. You should deal with it. To say, no, I'm going to go there. And sometimes when you go out there, part of the the territory of living a purposeful life, people will criticize. There will be criticism. But what you do as a person is to look at the criticism. There's constructive criticism. There's just some people who criticize for the sake of criticizing. You know, I told you in my last broadcast that, I've set up, I'm working with my daughter and we're setting up a business. And one of the assignments that we got from our coach is to go and look at our competitors, those who are doing the same business as us, the business that we're going to be doing. And one of the things that were supposed to do was to look at the reviews, mainly the negative reviews. And so we went there, but when we looked at the reviews, you had to have an eye and in to be able to see that this review is not, there's some reviews, that criticism that people put there, but it doesn't hold water. So it's the territory. When you're out there, people will criticize. They will say things. I always tell people that people have a mouth, so they are allowed to speak, and you have no control over what they say, how they say it. You have no control over what people think even about you or whatever you are doing. So, fear of criticism will cause you not to move on or not to even start anything. So, I want to say be delivered from the fear of criticism and from the fear of people. And the last one before I go is low self esteem. This is huge, huge. Sometimes people don't see the potential in them, the great potential that is in them because of lost self-esteem. And sometimes it can be due to our backgrounds, how we grew up, how people handled us when we were growing up. So a lot has to do with your background or your environment. But things do change. You have to make a decision that you are worthy, to see yourself the way God sees you. See your worth in order for you to deal with the spirit. That's why sometimes I say, when you work with a coach, they will help you to deal with such things, because some of those things you don't want to deal with them on the surface. It's not, when we're talking like this, sometimes we just talk on the surface, deal with it, but how do I deal with it? That's why sometimes it's important to engage the use of a coach, and in some areas you might even need a therapist to help you, so that you just don't deal with things on the surface. But I want to encourage somebody maybe who has serious low self-esteem. You don't see yourself as having anything valuable, and I just want to say to you, God did not create junk. The reason that you're actually still alive, there's a reason why, there's a purpose why you're still alive, and there's something that you can contribute to this world. There is something that's in you that's needed by somebody out there, and by you not living a purposeful life, there's some people who are disadvantaged. And I want you to see yourself the way God sees you. You are worthy, you are a valuable person, and there's something in you that we all need. So if you deal with low self-esteem, find out where it all started from, and deal with the root cause, and get started, whether you're scared or not. Get started. So anyway, as I said, those are some of the reasons. There are so many reasons, but those are some of the reasons that people procrastinate, and they're just practical reasons that have also applied in my life. So the only way to get started is to get started. So send me some feedback, and again, if you want the article that I wrote on 4 ways of dealing with procrastination, send us an email, foo@mylifecoachfoo.com, foo@mylifecoachfoo.com, and we'll be glad to send you that article. Thank you again, and I hope you have a great day.